We have studied already the harmful microorganisms and beneficial microorganisms. Let us study. So the few scientists, they worked related some of the identification of to discover and identification of some of the medicines. So the list, the first I said it is in the preparation of alcohol. The conversion of sugar into an alcohol is called fermentation. Fermentation. So maybe you observed. So mother will prepare the batter for idli or dosa. She'll keep for overnight, or 8 hours, or 7 hours, or 12 hours. The reason is it should come, the batter should raise, and then you will get the fluffiness. So that is because of a process called fermentation. It's because of a microorganisms called yeast. Yeast will be prepared in the it is used in the preparation of alcohol. Who invented and who discovered first? Louis Pasteur in the year 1857 introduced or discovered a process called fermentation. The second one. So as we know, we are suffering with the diseases. Maybe doctor will prescribe some medicines, especially antibiotics. Antibiotics are the one. So where medicines which kill disease-causing microorganisms in our body. For example, in our body itself, the antibiotics or the antibodies are present. They fight against disease. Still, in for different purpose. So, if the disease cannot be curable, so in that case, maybe viral fever, etc., they'll prescribe. Doctor will prescribe antibiotics. So, these are the medicines which will kill disease-causing microorganisms in our body. Then there is a question, whether microorganism is present in my body. Yes, it is. Maximum it is present. Bacteria, they are useful some in that case. So that in our body, when it will fail to fight against, in that case they will give an antibiotics. So that is you have to take in a prescribed manner only. So not to take always. So whatever, if I am suffering with the diseases, if I get antibiotic, then it will affect my body parts. So as whatever prescribed by doctor, you have to listen and you have to take. Not always, because it will affect our different parts of the body. Next, medicines which will kill disease-causing microorganisms. So who's that scientist? Alexander Fleming. So introduced a vaccine called penicillin. Vaccine is a medicine, as an injection. So it will be given to prevent some of the diseases in advance. For example, when the child will born, from that day onwards, there will be a procedure or steps should follow to give proper vaccine or medicine to prevent a major disease. For example, hepatitis B, or maybe meningitis, brain fever, or maybe chickenpox, etc. So all these will be prevented in advance through medicines, that is nothing but vaccines. So this is prepared with an injection called penicillin. Antibiotics, what we are getting, amoxicillin. So maybe you are heard about the word. So penicillin is an antibiotic prepared using a fungi or the fungi. Next one. So what he observed? He observed on the rotten meat, maybe on the citrus fruit, a green mold. So then he has identified and he is prepared the process. So that is used as a medicine called penicillin. So who invented? Alexander Fleming in the year 1929. Next one. Smallpox. The smallpox is a disease where it is invented by Edward Jenner in the year 1798. Now the medicine is available for this also. Next, anthrax, a mouth, or maybe it is called soft mouth portion. In the mouth portion, there is a disease. So that is a different type of an anthrax. But so especially in cattle, so on the foot portion, it will attack with an organism. So that is it is nothing but anthrax, an animal. So it is invented by a scientist called Robert Koch in the year 1876. In the 1876 he invented. So Bacillus anthracis, a medicine, bacterium, so to cure anthrax. So these are the inventions and the medicines. Next. So why we are suffering with diseases? There is a two types of diseases. One is called, so it can be curable within a short period. So it is called acute disease. One cannot. It takes a prolonged period or long. That is called infectious diseases or the chronic diseases, where here we are studying in a communicable disease. It will pass one person to another. It will transmit from one person to another. For example, cholera, common cold, chickenpox, etc. So these are the diseases. So that is called the communicable. It will pass from one person to another. In your textbook given. So if I sneeze or anyone will sneeze, so in that the thousands of particles are present. So in the form of droplets, it will pass from one person to another. So that's why it is difficult to cure some of the disease like COVID-19 at present. So it can be transmitted from one person to another within fraction of second. So that is called uncommunicable diseases. So which are the carriers? So something should be there in plants and in animals. It should carry the disease. So main to given in your textbook. So that is one. For example, stagnant water. Especially during rainy season, maybe in the coconut shell or maybe in a vessel, etc. So if you keep the water or maybe in that decaying portion where it is the water will stay there, that is called the stagnant water. It's a good breeding place for the mosquito. So mosquito require water to complete the life cycle. Stagnant water. So they'll breed very fast and they'll bring different types of diseases, especially the malaria. So that is because of an mosquito called Anopheles. A female mosquito called Anopheles bring. So malaria. So that's why we should be very careful not to store water anywhere in the open vessel. So that is a danger. So because it is a breeding place for mosquitoes like Anopheles. Next one. So maybe you are familiar with the dengue fever. So it is also because of a mosquito called Aedes aegypti. Aedes aegypti, Aedes mosquito. So it brings dengue fever. So all this what we can do. So as a protection manner to prevent ourselves and our environment. So we should follow some of the rules. So then only we can get we will be free with the diseases. Otherwise, we are bringing ourselves for different types of diseases. So if you keep your environment clean, etc., so you can avoid different types of diseases. So we have studied already the beneficial microorganisms and harmful microorganisms. So in our previous classes, we have studied already the crop production and management. So as I said in the food, so we are studying the microorganisms. Some are very beneficial. That is, so preparation of curd like lactobacillus, preparation of bread using yeast as a microorganism, etc. Sometimes these will lead to an harmful in nature. That is, so if a fungus will grow on a leaf surface or in a vegetable or a fruit or etc., it will be called as a rotten fruit. The meaning rotten is nothing but growth of a fungus or a growth of a microorganism on the fruit or the vegetables, etc. So here we are studying the one term called food poison. One we call it is an food poison. Is it? Two terms are related. Food is nothing but to survive. We want a nutrient or a component which is required to our body in a different way. For example, my bone requires vitamin D. So my body requires vitamin C. Some minerals are required. Some macronutrients are required. Micronutrients are required like zinc, iron, etc. to fill the blood. Especially I require iron content. So all these are required. So I preserve as a storage media. We have studied already silos. Silos is nothing but a huge amount of paddy or rice or wheat will be stored in a container. So that requires that it can be as a crop, the production and the management of crop. But so how do we preserve a cooked food at home or maybe inside the kitchen, etc. So there are different methods. As I said, rotten fruit consists of a fungus. If I intake as it is like an bread mold, as I said, growth of fungus. So unknowingly, because all these are the microorganisms which cannot be absorbed through unaided eyes. So I intake, so by knowing or unknowingly if I intake, then so maybe it will be sudden vomiting or maybe dysentery, etc. So that is all leads to a term called food poison. Food never will be a poison. Food is very essential to our body, but when it will be poison, when there is a growth of microorganism on the food surface, then it will turn into an. So when I will intake as a human being or maybe some animals, then it will be turned into an food poisoning. Not food will turn into a poison, food poisoning. So to avoid this, some preservative we require inside our kitchen or maybe in a huge way. So which are the methods which are used as a preservatives? So food preservation is a one where here we are preserving our cooked food, not a crop. Crop will be stored in a silos, that is in a huge amount, but cooked food, how do we store or preserve our cooked food? There are different methods. Some are traditional methods are there, as we know. So to preserve pickles, so if we add salt, so that is nothing but salting, it is also a preservative. So these are the preservative. We will study one by one. The first one is called the chemical method. Second is called the preservation of common salt. The third one is preservation by sugar. Fourth one, prevention by oil and vinegar or acetic acid. Next one, heat and cold treatment to my cooked food. Next, last one is storage and packing. So take the first one is the chemical method and ends with storage and packing. What is the chemical method? The word itself indicates the preservation or food preservation by chemical method. That is, the two chemicals mainly we are using sodium benzoate. When you will come to our classes, in the regular class we conduct experiment, as I said before also, because these are the chemicals. So we can't maybe we can't conduct any experiment at home. Don't do the experiment without your parent help. So it's very dangerous. So some chemicals are dangerous by own if you are using. So maybe it leads to some of the dangerous situation at home. So that's why don't conduct any experiments. All the experiments we are conducting in our practical classes in our school. Sodium benzoate and sodium metabisulfate. So these are the two chemicals, synthetic chemicals, so used for as a preservative. So that is nothing but salts and edible oils. Salts. It's not common salt. Here we are using sodium benzoate and sodium metabisulfate crystals will be used to preserve some of the food like jam, chilies, squashes. So where you are preparing the pulp of some fruits, so that is called squashes with the sugar. So that's why salt is required, especially here in the preparation of pickle. So the raw mangoes will be mixed with salts. So especially here sodium benzoate, sodium metabisulfate, SODIUM, sodium benzoate, BENZOATE. Sodium benzoate and sodium metabisulfate. So these are the two chemicals used as salts and edible oils. Some oils maybe you have heard about. Maybe your mother is preparing the pickle. She'll add mustard oil to prevent the growth of the fungus. So that is a traditional method. So these are also called the chemical methods. Second one, preservation by common salt. Example, so meat, fish, amla, raw mangoes and the tamarind. So when they prepare, so when then they'll prepare for the next process. They'll mix with some of the material that is nothing but common salt, sodium chloride. So it as used as a preservative. So it can keep for a little while, not a longer time. So that is also a preservative. The third one, preservation by sugar. So example, jams, jellies and squashes. As it is, we are using the sugar just to give a taste. No, the major function of the sugar reduces the moisture content. That's why we are using in the preparation of jams, jellies, squashes, etc. So this is the main question. So just as it is, we are using sugar to give a taste. So one more major function of the sugar, reduces the moisture content to inhibit. So avoid the growth of microorganisms in some of the food like jams, jellies and squashes. So that's why we are using sugar as a preservative. Next one, the fourth one, prevention by oil and vinegar. Maybe you have heard about. So apple looks very beautiful with a shiny structure on the surface. The reason they put a waxy layer, and maybe when you are washing the rice, so you'll get on the waxy coating on your palm. What is the reason? The reason is nothing but they'll coat with a waxy layer or a content. So that's why it is a prevention by oil and vinegar. So vinegar normally we are not using. So some only we are using vinegar because it is an acetic acid. In the preparation of pickle, etc. we are using vinegar. In the preparation of the some food items using meat and fish, so we are using vinegar. So these are the preventive methods or the preservative. So oil and vinegar. Next one. So is it enough to preserve the food as it is all the method oil, wax or maybe vinegar or maybe you are using salts as in sodium benzoate or maybe a common salt. Is it essential or is it enough? No. Still more. That is there. The major one every day in our life. So we are intaking milk to get calcium in our body. So heat and cold treatment of some food is required. So for example, if I get packet milk, now it is common in every places we are getting packet milk. What is meaning that? So whether it is good for health, there is an controversy in that packet milk. Whether it is good or bad. So according to that, so it will remain with some temperature. That is nothing but. So if I intake packet milk as it is in the preparation of maybe milkshake or maybe in preparation of other items as it is, can I intake milk as it is? Yes, I can. The reason is it is called pasteurized milk. What do you mean by pasteurization? As I said, there is a scientist called Louis Pasteur, invented a process called fermentation and also he introduced a technique called pasteurization where to kill an microorganism in certain temperature. So pasteurized milk, so our packet milk, keep in your mind, our packet milk is nothing but pasteurized milk. So in milk dairy, so they boil the milk at a temperature of 70 degrees Celsius for 15 to 30 seconds. Suddenly they cool within a fraction of second to, it is called a chilled milk. So this process, boiling a milk is called the pasteurized milk. And the last one, storage and package. So storage and package with the help of nitrogen. So maybe you are familiar with your packet food. So it will be little swollen, not if it will be bulged, not to intake the food. That is the meaning. So it is maybe you have to see the pack of a food, that is called the date, especially the date and manufacture. So date. So if you observe, then in between that case also because of rodents, pests, etc. So your packet food also will be bulged in size. Maybe while buying fruit juice also, ready-made fruit juice also. Observe carefully if it will be bulged or swollen. Don't intake all that material. The reason is there is already the growth of microorganisms started. If you intake, it leads to food poisoning and maybe the death sometimes. So that's why observe the packed food. So if it is little bulged, no problem because there will be filled with the nitrogen. So no problem. Otherwise, it will be swollen, especially fruit juices. So while buying, observe the date and then so the structure of the content. If it will be bulged, then it is a growth of fungus, leads to danger to your body. So all these preservative, if you preserve the food, so it will well and good, and if you intake, nothing will happen. So and we will be healthy. So that's why these are the terms: food preservation chemical method, preservation of common salt, preservation by sugar, prevention by oil and vinegar, heat and cold treatment. Some require, for example, milk require certain temperature, so we require freezer. So or the fridge, what we'll say, the cold. Some require warm temperature like fish, they'll boil and they'll fill in a container. So then they'll say, so all these require certain temperature. So that is nothing but heat and cold treatment. So we have completed already the topic called microorganism, food poisoning, food preservation. Let us learn the next step. So which are the diseases and how I can prevent myself from diseases.